And we are here with Dominique from Stolen Babies today. How are you doing?
Good.
And you are on tour with Otep today. You're at Harpo in Detroit. Now, how did you first get hooked up with Otep?
Well, Gil played on a couple albums back of hers, and we actually, our last album, Not, we recorded with Ulrich Wild, who is her producer, her cohort, and yeah, just that connection and, whatever the miracles led to us getting on this awesome tour. Yeah.
Nice. Let's go into some of the basics. How did you first get started in music? Did you come from a musical family? And what were your early influences?
I didn't come from a musical family. I did take piano lessons when I was like 4. I was pretty lousy. I was horrified of my teacher. She scared me. So when there was this like earthquake or something, and then she didn't want to come to her house anymore, and I was actually relieved. And I took piano. I played bass when I was 13. I'm kind of a musical, but I've always really been musical. I never took voice lessons. But no, my family's not musical. And then my early influences, as a child, I would say the Chipmunks. But like a preteen, kind of teenager, Oingo Boingo, probably my earliest influences. And, I was really young to be into Oingo Boingo, and I just barely caught. I saw them once during their farewell tour. I didn't get a chance. Unfortunately, I was too young to get a chance to see them when their heyday. I really would have liked that a lot.
Now, you also are known to play the accordion, correct? Now, how did you get started playing that?
Well, my father took lessons when he was a kid or a teenager, so we just had one lying around in the house. And it's just this huge, it's not the one I play on stage, it's a full-size, gigantic one, probably weighed about 40 pounds, and I just picked it up, and I liked it a lot more than the piano. I liked being able to breathe with it. I love the feel of it, and I just started playing it on my own, took some lessons, started playing it in the early form of Stolen Babies, which was like a ska theatrical band, and then just took it from there. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love the fact that you have the accordion in there, because I think it's one of the most underused instruments, especially in the rock scene, you know? Now, of course, the accordion is something that's known for your signature sound and for your band. What would you say are some other signature styles or techniques that you guys try to throw into the mix?
Well, you got Ronnie and Gil, who have their signature styles and sounds very powerful. Ronnie's bass tone is, being someone who used to play bass when I was a kid, I love his bass tone. It's right up there. I love Les Claypool. I love Primus. Growing up, I used to think Les Claypool was God. When I was a kid, I'd walk out one of those dumb kids like, "This is God."
I was like, when I first got the chance to interview him, I told him, I was like, it sounds silly, but what got me into you was, I don't know if you remember Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh, yeah.
And they had Tommy the Cat on there.
Jim is in that, he's all stationed. So yeah, of course, no. Because that one's got the soundtrack. It's got that that B-side Faith No More track. Yeah.
That was actually one of my first CDs I ever bought, and I loved cats growing up. So it sounds retarded, but I was like, wow, I love kitties, and you say about kitties. And I love bass growing up too.
Yeah.
He's really cool.
I never got good at slapping, I have to say. And I think also when I met Ronnie, I just sort of gave up. I was like, fuck this shit, I'm just gonna sing, whatever. I always hated being a singer. I kept going away from it. I tried to hide the fact that I say, okay, now I'm gonna play bass. Now I'm gonna, do special effects. Now I always tried to run away from it, and it just kept following me. But yeah, signature sound, Ronnie's bass tone. And now Ronnie's playing guitar, and he's got his own sound, and then Gil, world famous drummer. So the whole band, now just the 3 elements. It's just the 3 of us. We're all bringing in our own special thing.
Now, the last time I saw you guys were just down the road at the iRock.
Yeah.
And that was when MTV was in town filming you guys too, right?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was our first time, I believe our first time in Detroit, which would make this our second time, I think. Wow. And that was our first headlining, it was a headlining tour for us. I know not a lot of people there, but it was very surreal. And I say, the way I see it, if you're going to have a first show in a town, if MTV wants to shoot some kind of dating reality show there, and if they're requesting you for that, and you don't have many people there, I would say do it. It's the way to do it. So.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure what show it was. They said something about dating, but I wasn't even sure the name of the show or anything.
I don't remember.
It aired already? Or?
It did air, and I didn't get a chance to see it. I'd like to, though.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, that was definitely a pretty cool gig. You guys played with Gutter Holes, which I thought was a pretty good band to go with you guys.
Yes.
Now, as far as your music that you're listening to now, what are like your top 3 bands that keep running through your head?
That's on tour. I'm listening. The bands that we're touring with, I hear every night. I hear Otep, New Year's Day, and Lydia Can't Breathe every night, and they're awesome tour mates. We're all getting along great. But in my iPad, I haven't been listening to music on the road. At the beginning of the tour, I had this really disgusting obsession with Holiday Road by Lindsey Buckingham. And of course everyone's thinking, National Lampoons. And I'd wake up in the morning at the hotel, and I'd just play it. And then I'd start playing Time Bomb Town from Back to the Future. So I was having this weird Lindsey Buckingham thing, and it was just those 2 songs. And fortunately, Ronnie, I usually share a room with Ronnie, he was digging it. He was like, all right, just put Time Bomb Town on. So, I'm not really listening to bands right now on the road, but, I can't really answer that because I haven't really been listening to bands since I've been out, besides those 2 songs.
Now, we're going to get into some of the personal questions here.
Yeah, I have to change position.
Okay.
I just have to change my legs because my legs are falling asleep.
No problem. What is your biggest guilty pleasure?
Oh my God, that's hard. I have a lot of them, I think, and what do I feel guilty about? What have I felt guilty about recently? I hate to admit this, but the other night, I think it was it wasn't Racine, it was one of the clubs. One of the guys in the other band, they were doing these shots. They weren't Jello shots, but they were these gummy worm shots. I've never had that in my life. Here's the thing. I'm not a strict vegetarian. I've been a vegan, I've been a vegetarian, and right now, currently at this phase of my life, I do eggs and fish. I haven't had any other kind of meat in a very long time, but getting to the point, there's gelatin in gummy worms and gummy bears, and I had already had some drinks at that point, and then the guys in the bands, and I think some other people I went mentioning to are vegetarian were like, oh, have one of these, and it was pleasurable and horribly guilty. Never again.
Oh, come on
Maybe.
now.
I don't know. It's
Never seen ever.
They don't have to put gelatin in that stuff, but
yeah. Now I have 3 signature questions that I ask everybody, just because I can.
Okay.
They might sound like hogwash, but I guarantee you there is a psychology basis behind them. Okay. First question. If you were a unicorn and you could be any color but white, what color would you be? And would you have any special powers?
I'd be invisible color. I'd be like the, totally, I'd be see-through. You wouldn't see me. And the ability would be to withstand any temperature. I don't know if unicorns already have that ability. That's the thing, what can unicorns do? I don't really know. So if they're sensitive to really hot temperatures and really cold temperatures, So I was just like that. I'd like to just like, you know, be able to walk in, you know, the coldest, you know, walk through the snow, walk in the desert, and be able to survive.
That is definitely.
I don't know what that says about my personality. It says I'm a
Well,
dumbass.
the invisibility says that you could be into voyeurism.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You don't like to sit back and watch and see what things go on?
I'm very respectful of people's privacy.
Second question. Almost as ridiculous, but if you were a yogurt and you could be any flavor, does not have to be a traditional flavor, what flavor would you be?
Fennel.
And how would you be served? You could be fennel.
I'd be fennel. And I would be served in a tube of black licorice. Oh my god, is that perverted? What's going on? I don't know.
Getting back to the voyeurism.
Wow. I think it's just because the room looks like licorice.
Yeah,
It smells like mildew, but it looks like licorice.
the black on black.
Yeah.
The final of the ridiculous questions. Describe yourself as far as physical characteristics and personality traits. Your choice. Describe yourself as either a dog, a cat, or a cartoon.
Cartoon? So as far as animals go, I could only be a dog or a cat.
Well, if you wanted to be a cartoon, you could anything.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to go for a cartoon. But the cartoon would be that of a blobfish. That is my power animal. I make these blob flowers,
Nice.
which are a hybrid. Yeah, I have a petal that fell off because this was a shitty one I made for myself. And I move around. I sweat. I move around. I wear it on stage. It falls. I break everything all the time. So the blobfish, I guess, was recently voted National Geographic's ugliest animal. I mean, that we know of, right? It's gelatinous. It's ugly. It's endangered, and I relate to it. I'm relating to it right about now. Yeah, a cartoon version of the blobfish.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what do you have that you are currently working on, or what can people expect from you guys in the future?
Well, we got about a month left of this tour, so if you are in any of the towns that this tour is going to, you can hopefully expect to see us because we'll be there. But after that, we want to record new songs. We want to do an EP, and then after the EP, there's Gil Sherwood.
Sorry to interrupt. Can we get that lighter that you borrowed for the incense?
It's upstairs.
Uh-huh.
But he doesn't have lighters at the lunch table.
Do you guys have a lighter on you? Easy
No, I
access?
haven't spoken. Sorry, dude.
Sorry. Lighters are very important to us.
Always on tour. Probably the number one thing that's stolen.
We sell lighters, so I don't know what.
Oh, even better.
Just go to the merch table. What was I saying? What's going on? Then we'd like to do the next full-length album is kind of ambitious, so and it might take a minute. So definitely EP first, just with a few songs, just to kind of give people some.
Now, when you say ambitious, do you have any themes that you're aiming towards?
Well, without talking too much about it, I feel like we've really been feeling for a while that it's kind of inevitable that we would have to do a throwback to our roots, because we're always talking about it in bios and interviews, and for all people know, we could be lying when we say where we come from. We could just be doing it to sound cool. So we want to kind of be like, all right, the name Stolen Babies came from this thing that we did when we were kids, and it might be an appropriate time now in this day and age to maybe try to get it to materialize, to show where we're coming from in the past. Back to the future. Back to the future.
Now, on your latest album, the one that you had released, I was checking out the artwork with the sun and everything like that. Who did the artwork? How did that concept come about?
That's Crab Scrambly. He's our really good friend. He's the guy that's been doing our artwork for a long time now. And first and foremost, he's family. He does pretty much everything, so that's him. The concept for the Not album artwork this time around was Ronnie. Squabbles, it was me. So this one, Ronnie kind of took the reins of having a happy land and a dark version of that inside. And so you've got the happy sun on the front, the really stressed out sun, and the stressed out sun was my idea because the sun stresses me out a lot of the time. So I was like, this is how I feel when I see the sun. Can you draw that? And he did it great. I love that sun.
Yeah, I really like that.
It's very telling. Yeah.
Well, we'll start to wrap this up, so I do have to ask, do you have any advice for people who are just starting out in the music industry?
We're not really like in the music industry, this band. I know it might, maybe to some people appear that way because we get on these fucking kick-ass tours with like Otep, wow, you know. But, you know, we do have an agent and everything, but we're an independent band. We've had licensing agreement with like labels in the past. We're pretty much independent. We don't immerse ourselves in the industry because of the nature of what we do. You know, if I could give any advice, if I even have the clout to, you know, all I think is really important is that people don't try to fit into the scene. I get really disheartened when I feel like someone's doing something just to fit in. I mean, it's fine to go through that phase in your life. Everyone needs to go through various phases. But if you're doing art, really just do it against all odds, no matter what people think, no matter how you look, no matter how you sound, no matter if people get you or not. Do it to express what's inside of you so you can stay sane and maybe help other people stay sane without lying or pandering or anything like that. So, yeah.
And one last question on the topic of the music industry itself. For you, what is the scariest thing about the music industry or being on the road?
Well, the scariest thing about being on the road are the road conditions. We have been in an accident. You know, it's like our first tour, and we called it a tour. It was like a 4-day run with our good friends at the time, Sleeping Time Gorilla Museum. But we were on a road in Arizona on the 10, and this truck came tumbling at us from the opposite lane, none of us got hurt, but we lost a trailer due to that accident. Ronnie had this beautiful sparkling pink upright bass that got completely smashed. And then when we had other, you know, recent tours, we've had, you know, weather conditions that you have to pull over. So literally, you know, it can be dangerous. And you know, you're in areas where anything can happen, so you have to be alert. You know, it's just because you're in a band and maybe if you're surrounded by really cool other artists and musicians, it doesn't mean you're safe. You just have to have your peripherals going at all times, especially if you're dressed up and you have instruments. There's shit that goes down. So yeah, it's dangerous. Yeah.
Even at this particular location.
Gil saw someone shoplift. There was a chase in the alley. Ashley from New Year's Day saw someone shitting. It's been really exciting.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is definitely an exciting location.
Yeah, I kind of like it though, as long as I stay. You know,
yeah. You stay inside.
Yeah.
You don't want to wander too far.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that we did not touch upon that you want to throw in? Closing thoughts, comments, anything the world needs to know?
Well, I don't know when this is going to go out or you know, who's going to see it, but if anyone, you know, sees it while the tour is still going on, you know, check out our website. We have the tour dates and Facebook. We're kind of Luddites in this band. We're really bad at social networking. Gil's pretty good at it, but like, so we're just now getting into the Instagram thing, and I don't even have a Twitter app on my phone or anything. So, you know, check out our various forms of websites and social media doohickeys, and you know, check out our tour dates. And if we're coming to your town, come see us, because I think that we're a lot easier to understand once you see us live.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us, Dominique. We really appreciate it. Have a beautiful rest of the tour.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.